Okay, so this is going to be math review session number 3, and then we'll have our test. So make sure you go through these videos as often as you possibly can. The big thing is knowing all your basic multiplication facts, because if you know them, then you think backwards multiplication, and you also know all your basic division facts as well. But let's say you don't have division facts memorized. Let's say you have 15 divided by 3. Okay, one way you can solve this is by drawing 15 things. Okay, now I know it's divided by 3, so why wouldn't I do it in rows of 3? That makes sense, right? So watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I circle my groups of 3. Now to get my quotient, that's the answer to a division problem, I simply count how many groups I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the quotient is 5. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Okay? So that's basic division. Now, if you know your multiplication facts, that's even easier. You can just say, what do I multiply times 3 to get 15? Well, if you know it, you know that 5 times 3 equals 15. Simply backwards multiplication, isn't it? Okay, let's try another one. This is 16 divided by 4. It's just written differently. It's written as a fraction, and we call this an improper fraction. But what you do is you're going to draw 16 things if you don't know it, and I would suggest rows of 4. That way you can easily circle your groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, now circle your groups of 4. And how many groups of 4 do we have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 16 divided by 4, your quotient would be 4. Okay, 4 is your quotient. Let's try another one. Let's try, I'm going to write division in a different way now. 13 divided by 5. Okay, so 13 divided by 5. I wrote it with a box. So you read it backwards. 13 divided by 5. Now I'm going to draw 13 things, and I'm going to put them in groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, now I need to circle my groups of 5 because we're dividing by 5, right? So here's a group of 5. Here's a group of 5. Is that a group of 5? Nope. That's what we call remainder. It's the leftover. So first we count how many groups of 5 we have. 1, 2. Write that up on the answer line. And then the leftovers we call remainder, and we use a capital R to symbolize that. So there's 3 of them, so we would put capital R for remainder of 3. So this is 2 whole groups of 5 with a remainder of 3. That means 3 left over. Okay, so that's, sometimes you get a division problem and you have a remainder. That's division with remainders. Okay, let me jump back and do some multiplication ones with different signs before we get back to division. Let's say I have this. Okay, I have a 3, and then I have some brackets, and then I have 4. Okay, anytime you do math and there's no sign in between, your sign is actually multiplication. So when you see no sign, that means multiply. Okay, most of you probably by now know what 3 times 4 is, so you would simply write the product. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. If you didn't know, you could do an array. You could do a group picture. You could do repeated addition. You could use any of those strategies for this particular one. But it's far better to know it because then it doesn't waste any time. Let me show you another multiplication problem. Now, what in the world does that dot mean? Well, it means multiply. It's another way to write a multiplication sign. So if you see something like that and you have a dot, it's not going to be on the bottom. It's going to be right in the middle. If you have a dot right in that spot, it means you multiply those two numbers together. Now, you may not have this memorized, but you can use that 9 strategy where you take one less than the other number. One less than this is 5. Then you ask yourself, what do I add to 5 to get 9? 4. And there you have your product, 54. That's a pretty easy 9 strategy. There's that other one where you can use your fingers as well, and if you prefer that, you can use that strategy. Now let's get back to division a little bit. Let me give you 3 division problems, and you can work on that by doing your groups and circling your groups up, or you can just talk yourself through backwards multiplication if you really know your multiplication facts. So let's try 18 divided by 6, and let's also try 16, I'll write it like in a box, divided by 8. And then last but not least, we will try 20 divided by 5. Okay, so there's 3 problems I want you to work on and try to find the quotient for all 3. So go ahead and click pause, then we'll come back and go over the answers. Okay, so now we're back. And 18 divided by 6, you could draw 18 things. If you didn't know it, I would draw it in rows of 6, circle your groups, and you would have 3 groups. Or you could ask yourself, what do I multiply times 6 to get 18? 3 times 6 equals 18. Okay, here we have 16 divided by 8. So you could draw 16 things in rows of 8, circle your groups, and you would end up with 2 groups. Okay, or you could ask yourself, what do I multiply times 8 to get 16? 8 times 2 equals 16, doesn't it? So you can do it either way. Backwards multiplication is quicker. It's kind of like just knowing it, basically. Okay, here we have 20 divided by 5. It's a fraction. We call that an improper fraction. Okay? And a lot of times you'll see it written as a fraction. Okay, so 20 divided by 5. Now, I think probably everyone could do backwards multiplication on this, so ask yourself, what do I multiply times 5 to get 20? 5 times 4 equals 20, doesn't it? So your quotient would be 4. So you had quotients of 3, 2, and 4. Okay? So those are some more examples. Let's just do another one where we draw a picture because there may be some people that still need to practice doing that. Let's try 21 divided by 7. Okay, so I'm going to draw 21 things and I'm going to do rows of 7 so it's easy to circle my groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Now I circle my groups of 7. And then I just need to count how many groups I have. 1, 2, 3. So there we have our quotient. Okay? Now, if you wanted to simply do backwards multiplication, you could ask yourself, what do I multiply times 7 to get 21? Okay, well, 3 7s. 3 times 7 would equal 21. And of course, you would get the same quotient. Okay, let's do one more with a picture. And then you can do many others that are similar to this, using all the basic facts that you know to practice to be prepared for the test. Let's try 14 divided by 5. 14 divided by 5. So I'm going to count up to 14, use rows of 5 to make it easy to circle my groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now I circle my groups of 5 because that's what I'm dividing by. Oh, that one's not a group of 5, is it? Okay, so as far as the total groups of 5, I have 2. This is my leftovers. We call them remainders, and there's 4 of them. So it's a 2 with a remainder of 4. So that is your quotient, 2 with a remainder of 4. So practice a lot of problems, basic multiplication, basic division, large number multiplication problems, telling time in 2 different ways. Practice all of that stuff so that come time for the test, it's going to be an easy test. And if it's an easy test, then it makes it a lot of fun for you. So make sure you make it fun for yourself.